everyone, today we are back with Cherie, and I don't know if I'm going to do too much TRT method with her today. She's kind of fresh and I don't know if it's going to rain. Like the overcast is really nice. It makes me have like a good color to my face for once, but I'm a little bit worried that it might decide to rain, so I kind of want to get the riding in because she's fresh and I just want to ride. So yeah, we'll just get into it. We'll see if she does better with the mounting exercise this week better than last week, because last week she did not remember it because she had like 2 or 3 weeks off. Was that rain or was that, oh, that's your drooling. Okay. Anyways, she had kind of forgotten with the horse show how to go through the exercise, so we're gonna practice that again, and I finally remembered my dressage whip this time, so hopefully that goes well. So we'll see how it goes. So she has her big shoes on. So this is the first ride. Oh, I'll use her, but she has her big shoes on for the fair. So this is her first ride back with them. So hopefully she doesn't kick herself too much. Alright, so I end up cutting a lot of this audio out because there's a lot of machinery going on, there's wind. I like hearing the birds, but you can't hardly hear them over a majority of what's going on. So I did not really get any of the mounting stuff on video. I tried, but from wherever I had the camera, you could not see it at all, so that was not gonna happen. And we had to practice it a few times, I would say, but I don't know, she got it eventually. I guess it wasn't the best for sure. And then I just started with a lot of loose walking. This actually ended up being a longer ride than I said it would be because of the rain I was worried about. I don't know if it rained this time, but it's now been a while since I'm recording the voiceover. And but yeah, I like to do a lot of walking with her to get her stretched out and relaxed, because we've had issues with her being tense under saddle often, and it's just a good way for her to get back into it. I also really wanted her to get used to carrying a rider with the show shoes on, because they do change the angle of the foot a little bit. It's those big Scotch squares or whatever they're called. I am not an expert in those, so I don't know. And I don't know why they put them on other than to look flashy. I don't personally like them and I hate riding with them, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And she isn't always the best with not tripping as it is, and with these shoes she definitely tripped more often. After a while too, I noticed that her left foot definitely looked more spread out at the toe than her right, and so I think that's why she was tripping on that side more often. But then I do some posting trot with her, and she felt really off balance. Like, it doesn't look that bad now watching it back, but she did not feel balanced, and I wasn't feeling confident about how she was going this day. And so I'm doing a lot of transition. She kept trying to walk at that fence, or that gate. So there was a lot of me just trying to keep her going. You can see I lose my balance there, and she'll do that where she'll just like slow down, make you lose your balance, and then be like, oh no, we have to walk. So it's a nice little trick she has to try to get you to not make her work, even though she was fresh, so that was interesting. So then I just start working with Citrot with her to try to help her stay balanced, and she really likes it when you ride towards the back of the saddle, because you can tell in this video especially that she's got a lot up front and not so much weight in the back, so it's harder for her to balance herself still. So some of these parts of my sit trot are they look really nice. Like that part, I was like, oh, that looks nice. And then there's other parts where she starts to speed up or kind of falls out of balance a little bit, and then it doesn't look so good. And then I'm kind of bouncing around. I don't have the greatest sit trot anyways, but a big moving draft horse is not the easiest to sit on. I have no idea what I was saying there. I think just I was mentioning that the circles kept getting smaller. But, yeah, and then I did some more posting trot, kind of back and forth with posting and sitting to try to get her more balanced. It looks pretty good there. Here, she started to brace in her mouth like she does, especially to the left. That's her weaker direction, so that's when I just brought her down to the walk, made her do a small circle to try to get her off of leaning on my hands. Because what she'll do is she'll just kind of lock her jaw, lean one direction, and then you basically just have to stop because you have no directional aids with her and she just kind of blocks you out. So have to get her mind off of it and get her back to focusing. That looked really nice there for a second. So there's parts that are looking good, and it's all practice. Here I'm practicing backing up because a lot of the draft horse classes will ask you to back, and I wanted to get her more comfortable with that for the trail class. She doesn't back up straight very well, so we're gonna have to work on that. That'll be a continuous thing. She seems to back diagonally, but not the direction you ask for. So trying to get her to back the way you want her to isn't always the nicest. I was trying to get her to back and turn at the same time because that's sometimes required in the trail classes, typically around cones, kind of like maneuverability in a car, but she wasn't really understanding it. So I was trying to like ask her to back and then ask her to turn and try to put it together, but it just wasn't really coming together. So then I was like, all right, we'll just move forward and try that again. And she did not want to go in a nice way. She wanted to go with her head straight up in the air, and yet still heavy on the forehand. Very odd sometimes the way she wants to go. And then I got her to come together a little bit better, rebalance on her hind end, because she's got a lot more weight up at the front of her. She's got a big shoulder and this massive neck. You can't really understand, I feel like, how big she is because I'm tall, but she is really big. She's not the biggest horse in the barn, actually, but she is quite a lot to control sometimes. And, like, in a nice way. Not that she's uncontrollable. She's very controllable, especially for a 5-year-old draft horse, but just, like, keeping her together and moving the way you want. She doesn't always like that, so it's just a lot of, like, try again. So then I had her do, like, a bit of a walk break here to try to get her to relax, kind of come back. And then go back into trotting, and then it was much nicer, those transitions. I'm also trying to work on those transitions, especially to the left, because she'll usually throw her head, pin her ears, and then pick up the trot. To the right, it's a lot nicer, because she's more comfortable in that direction. And I continued to sit trot with her because she just felt a lot more comfortable with that and was happier with it. Still throwing her head around, but she's still figuring out with her balance, so I'm not really too bothered by that. feel like you see a lot of going to the left, but she really does need to get stronger to that direction, so that's just how it worked out, I guess. Yeah, so much to the left. Wow. She's definitely lost some momentum there around that turn. The turns are tricky for her. She likes to bend to the outside. So just a lot of turning, and then I gave her a nice long walk on stretch out. Just a few clips of it in here because they're just walking, but you can see her trip a bit there, and that's a big reason why I'm trying to help her learn how to balance herself too, so that way she's not constantly tripping and falling. Alright, well, okay, they're all talking, but while the beeping is done, Cherie was pretty good, and we will leave you guys here. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye. She says, give me more treats. I was good. Hi. Notice nose. Pretty girl. Marino's gonna get me behind. Hi. He was just biting my shoulder. You not gonna do it? He's like, now my camera. Now you see. Now I look weird in these lights. They're LEDs. It's really bright. It's really nice. Hi, Sage. Oh. It's you. Hello. What is it? What is it? You eating my arm?